Hey everybody, welcome to episode 109, Top 5 Tips for Competing in a Local Pageant. I'm Coach Allie Mancuso with Powerhouse Pageantry, and this is your Powerhouse Podcast. I am so excited to give you the top 5 tips for competing in a local pageant. These tips apply for a local competition, obviously, but honestly, if you're listening to this before competing at state and at large competition, a pay-to-play, or a national pageant even, this will be for you as well. I'm super pumped, so let's get started. Hey everyone, it's Coach Allie Mancuso with Powerhouse Pageantry. Thanks for listening to the Powerhouse Podcast. We're so excited that you're here. I don't know about you guys, but I think lists are so helpful in life. That might be my 3 coming out of my Enneagram, but I love lists. So this week, I wanted to give you guys, our Powerhouse listeners, 5 tips in the form of a list for competing at your next pageant. And like I said in my intro, this is specifically for local pageants, but honestly, it really applies to state, national competitions as well. So regardless of where you're at in your pageant journey, if you are prepping for a pageant, this is for you. So in this podcast, I'll give you some key questions to ask before you compete, as well as a really good prep plan, or at least the basis of it for you, that will make you feel really confident going into your pageant. So hopefully I can help you get organized, help organize your tasks, your thoughts, your questions, so you can really feel super, super confident going into your pageant. So starting with number 1, register early and get in contact with the director about deadlines and requirements. I'm going to say that again. So number 1 of your top 5 tips for competing at a local pageant, register early and get in contact with the director or the board or whoever's in charge about deadlines and requirements. So this is so important. Now, hopefully you're not the type of person that is just going to register for a pageant the week of, but if we have people listening that it's kind of spur of the moment, you've never done it before, this is the very first podcast you've ever listened to of Powerhouse, and you're like, I am doing a local pageant, DM us and we will give you some last minute strategies to help, or pick the things out of this podcast that really can apply for you and where you're at today. But for the majority of you, you're probably listening to this and you're a couple weeks, couple months out and getting ready for your pageant, or hopefully. So here are some questions that you can ask the director of the pageant or the board, depending on if you're going for a local or a state pageant. And hopefully these can really help you acquire the correct information so you can make a plan. Because again, my first step is register early. So hopefully you're weeks or months ahead of the competition date, and then get in contact with the director. So first thing is figure out if the pageant has an orientation day. So important, because a lot of these questions will be answered on that orientation day. Now, sometimes it's not a day, sometimes it's just a Zoom call or a half day, but whatever it is, if your pageant is doing something like this, it is so important that you are there, that you're paying attention, that you have a notebook and a pen or your laptop taking notes, because somebody will ask a question if it's not you, and you will need this information. So this is a place where you can ask lots of questions, but if they don't have an orientation day or Zoom call scheduled, maybe you asking the question will initiate it for the whole program, which will be good. But if not, and that's not possible, schedule a phone call with the director to get this information. Sending this email or sending all of these questions that I'm about to describe over email could be a little daunting. So that's why I would suggest just scheduling a phone call, making this list of questions out and asking her over the phone so she can tell you what's applicable to you and where you're at with your pageant journey. So I'm going to hit you with a list of questions. Now, this is a little lengthy, so if you're listening and you have time to take notes or you can audio record it, please do, because these are a lot of questions that pretty much everybody needs to get answered before they compete in a pageant. So number 1, figuring out when is the pageant. Is it 1 or 2 days? What day is it? What day of the week? What time? Where it's at? All of those wonderful questions that really tell you the necessary details of what you're getting into. What are the time expectations of the pageant? How long will I be at the venue? What are the areas of competition? Am I interviewing? How long am I interviewing? Am I doing talent, on-stage question, social impact pitch? And if I am doing pitch, how long is my pitch? Because as we've seen with the Miss America organization, it can vary from, I've seen 10 seconds all the way up to 90 seconds at a local. So if that's you, make sure you ask that question so you feel prepared and you can get a couple drafts going before you actually perform the draft that you have on stage. Other categories could be evening gown, opening number, outfit, fun fashion, swimsuit, international costume, if you're in a beauty system, etc. So really, really important to know the areas of competition. Also really important to note what paperwork is required to compete and when it is due. So most competitions, the paperwork is not due the day of the competition. It's due early, so they can either print it out and bring multiple copies for the judges or have the judges read it early. So keep that in mind. So if your pageant is on October 1st, they might have it due 2 weeks before or 4 weeks before, depending on your local. So that's very, very important to know that information alongside what the paperwork actually is. Also, know if you need to write introductions for each area of competition. So if you're a pageant that has talent or evening gown, the judges normally read something while you're on stage. So it's not just somebody walking on stage to music, although that happens. But make sure you ask if there is a bio that you need to be writing, and then you can practice to it as well. Very, very important. Also, if talent is a phase of competition, when do you need to send in your track by? Who do you send it to and in what format? Also, very, very good questions. Is this an open or closed local competition? And what I mean by that is living in the county or not. Some pageants have restrictions on ethnicity or if you're living in the county or not. That's what I mean by open or closed. So if they're hyper-specific qualifications of competing, make sure you find that out so you don't register and then you find out that you actually aren't eligible to compete in that competition. Also, will we be recording videos prior to the competition to be played on the screen behind the candidates and contestants? Am I allowed to leave the venue once I get there? Can my parents bring me items or food during the day? So important to know that. Are rehearsals open or closed? Can my parents sit in on rehearsals? Can I have someone video my rehearsal performance? Some pageants allow that and some don't, whether that is a pageant coach, a parent, or another contestant or a hostess. Really, really good at, or really worthwhile to get that question answered. Will we be recording videos during the competition day to be played at night? So this is a question to help conserve your energy. If part of you being there is, somebody takes you outside and records an intro video so it plays behind you on a screen, I would want to know that if I was competing in a pageant, so I wouldn't be shocked by it last minute. Other questions, how many judges will be there? Can I have access to the judges' bios prior to the competition? Do the judges look at contestant or candidate social media accounts before the competition? Are the judges given our social media information as a contestant? What factors go into the judges' selection process? What scholarships and prizes will be awarded to the winner? Runners-up, top 5, non-finalist? Additional scholarship applications and deadlines, do they have any? Do they present any additional awards to non-winners of the pageant? Is there a People's Choice Award? Is this online or in person? Does this affect the placement of the winner? Now I'm going to pause. I'm about halfway through my list of questions. I know I've hit you with a lot of these questions, but as I was making this list, I was really trying to reflect back on my own pageant journey when I did my very first local. And I know we have listeners that do lots of different pageant systems. So my experience specifically, the very first pageant was in the Miss America organization. And I was trying to remember what I was thinking, what I was feeling when I did this for the very first time. And me being an Enneagram 3, I try and think of every single detail humanly possible. And that is where some of these questions come to pass. So hopefully this is helping you. Again, I'm about halfway through my list. So here we go with the second half. So what do you need to bring with you? What wardrobe pieces do you need to have? Gown, talent costume, interview outfit, onstage question outfit, pitch outfit, fun fashion, introduction outfit, rehearsal clothes, little sister's dance outfit. I'm even winded even just listing all of those things. But important things to know. You don't want to feel unprepared because you forgot to pack something or you didn't know that you were supposed to have a black cocktail dress for opening number because no one told you. Are there any outfits, shoes, or accessories provided to me by the pageant? Is there a fee required to compete? Do I need to register online for a fundraising platform? Sometimes the national organization has a partner that the contestant has to fundraise for, so that's really important to know. How much space will I have in the dressing room? Do I need to bring my own steamer? Will there be powerhouse. Will there be outlets in the dressing room? So that's really important to know. So if you need to bring a power strip, I wrote powerhouse in my notes because I was doing a bunch of other powerhouse pageantry things, which is funny to me. Do I need to bring a silent auction item? Will there be Little Sisters princess program at the local, meaning there might be a Little Sisters dance, or the Little Sister might come out on stage with you for evening gown? Will there be hostesses backstage to help you? Are you allowed to bring in your own hair and makeup person to the venue? Do you have to do your own hair and makeup? Can you come ready with hair and makeup done from an outside person? Very important to know, hair and makeup can stress people out, let me tell you. So make sure you get that question answered. Does the pageant take your phones for the duration of the competition and when girls are in the dressing room? Will there be food provided? Will there be water provided? What will be provided if you have food allergies? How much are tickets going to be for my friends and family coming to the pageant? Can my family purchase tickets online, or are they only at the door? After the competition, does the winner have a meeting with the current director or the board? What are the expectations for after the pageant for the person who wins and the people who don't? And then how soon after can I see my family after the pageant? Can my mom or sister come help me in the dressing room afterwards? So that is just a few of the questions that I came up with. And so feel free to re-listen to this if you need to write some of those down, or if that jogged your memory of some other questions. And if you thought of some, feel free to DM me too. I'd love to add your questions that you came up with or you had before you competed to my list. So that was all point number 1. That was the heaviest point, lots of questions, but hopefully that was helpful. Who remembers the first title point? Do you remember? It was register early and get in contact with the director about deadlines and requirements. So asking these questions, being prepared, registering early, and communicating. That's the biggest thing. So number 2, assess where you are at and where you want to be. So after you have the answers to all of those questions, or at least some of those questions, whichever ones are pertinent to you at that time in your journey to competing at that local pageant, you need to assess where you're at and also where you want to be. So hopefully you're setting goals for yourself as a part of competing for this pageant. So in light of this information that you just collected from the phone conversation or orientation Zoom call with the director, assess where you're at. If you've previously competed before, maybe at state or in another local, how did you do? What were your strengths? What were your weaknesses? And because of that, how are you feeling about this competition? Do you feel prepared? Are you excited about competing? What are your goals for this competition? Is it to win? Is it to do your best? Is it to make top 5? Is it to win a specific scholarship? Is it to win interview? So thinking about all of those goals that you could possibly set for yourself. And also assessing where you want to be, being realistic. So if you've never won a local in the past, maybe reflecting on why, what has not worked for you, and how can you work really, really hard to train and prepare and plan, or work with coaches, whatever you need to do to be your best version of yourself to achieve that goal. So what are those goals for competition? That's part of assessing where you're at and where you want to go. Along with that are distractions. What are your biggest distractions or hindrances for meeting those goals? What are your biggest mental challenges for meeting those goals? And when should you let yourself off the hook when things don't go according to plan? So those are 3 huge things. I don't have time to go through in the very specifics of all 3 of those categories because we have podcasts on pretty much all 3 of those categories anyways. But identifying distractions in your life is something that you're not only using for pageantry, but you're going to utilize as an adult and just as a person in life. Distractions take your mind away from work, take your mind away from whatever you're doing, and don't allow you to be present. And it also really just depletes your mind or your bandwidth, your energy level from staying on track and meeting your goals, which can be really frustrating. Same thing with mental challenges. Mental challenges could be a negative self-talk or negative things that you tell yourself or other people that tell you, or negative things in your life that you really need to create more margin and boundaries and stick up for yourself and create more positivity and positive energy in your life. What are those mental challenges or roadblocks in your life? And can you work to eliminate those so you can work harder to meet your goal? Here's a news flash. You can really work hard. And if you need a coach to help you decipher what those positive to negative things are of mental challenges and distractions and roadblocks, Megan, I would love to help coach you through that at Powerhouse, but I digress. I could get really granular with that because that's what I'm really passionate about, and Megan is too. But the last thing here is really when you should let yourself off the hook for when things don't go according to plan. I don't know about you, but I really hold myself to a high standard sometimes. And unfortunately, that comes with extending grace for other people, but not myself. And that can be really hard sometimes because it's easy to sometimes give grace to other people because that's what we're taught and it's difficult to reflect inward and say, why am I not giving myself grace for not accomplishing this sometimes or not 100% meeting my goal in every way, shape, or form. So little things in life naturally come up, like what if you had a family death or you got fired from your job or, life things happen, you broke up with your boyfriend or something that's really mentally taking you off of the task at hand. Create a plan that has margin in your life where when things go wrong, you have a strategy to bounce back. You hang out with friends, you talk to people, you communicate about how you're feeling and your mental health. So really building in those moments because they're going to happen, big or small, those type of moments are going to happen in your life as you prepare for this pageant. So rather than letting it keep you down, create a strategy in your life that helps you bounce back. And that's my second point. Assess where you're at and where you want to be. So it's really a lot of mindset work here of assessing where you're at and where you want to be. Okay, point number 3 is make a plan. And if I sound happy about this, it's because I am and I love making plans. So I want you to think about these things as you're making your own plan. So I'm going to stay kind of high level with these things because I want you to create your own plan alongside kind of these guidelines. But this is supposed to be an outline for you to fill in the tasks within each of these categories. So make a plan. Remind yourself first of the goals you set for competing. So why are you doing this? Finding your why. Why do you want to compete in this pageant? Why does it mean something to you? Do you want scholarships? Do you want to further your platform? Do you want to meet new friends? Do you want to get out of your comfort zone? All of those things could be precepts of your goals, but making sure that they are measurable, tangible, have specific outcomes is very important. So you should have done that in the previous step, but now we're going to make that plan. So what are the areas that I need to work on the most? What are the areas that I feel the most confident in? What are the areas that I need help with? With those 3 categories, you can structure the tasks moving forward month to month or week to week until your goal. So first, how much time do you have before the competition? With this in mind, you can make your mental map. And in your mental map, if you're a powerhouse girl and you're in the inner circle, you know what I mean by mental map. But overall, it's positive affirmations, your self-love and planned relaxation, health and fitness, work hours, pageant hours, plan to stay motivated, accountability, and boundaries. That pretty much sums up most of the categories that you'll have in your plan. So within that plan, you have to remember, how am I tracking my pre-plan and my progress? Where do I want to be 3 months out from the competition, 2 months, 1 month, 2 weeks, 1 week, and then 3 days out from the competition? So I'm going to repeat that. That's my mental map from my timeline. 3 months, 2 months, 1 month, 2 weeks, 1 week, 3 days. And there's a reason why I have individual metrics for each one of those things. So thinking about the first 3 things that I mentioned in this section, what areas do you need to work on the most? What areas do you feel most confident in? And what areas do you need help with? So the areas that you need to work on the most should be the earliest tasks that you complete. So thinking that 3-month out timeline, or maybe even that 2-month out timeline, you should go hard in the paint on these tasks that you need to work the most on early. Okay, then from the 1 month range, or maybe 2 months, that's really what you need to incorporate what you need help with as well. And this might tie into that first point, what you need to work on the most, but the work on part is really implying you are able to do this by yourself. Need help with is categorizing you need help with someone else. Got it? Okay, so then the last thing is things that you feel the most confident in. Maybe this is energizing for you, things that motivate you even more, get you excited about competing for the pageant. This should be later on as you're preparing for the competition. There's a reason for that, so that you can get the stressful things out of the way. And as you work on those things that might be more difficult for you, or the area of competition that stresses you out more so than the others, you will be more relaxed as you approach the competition. Think about it. It just makes sense. If talent is the area that stresses you out and you're working your butt off 3 months, 2 months before the competition, so much so that you have your dance or your song completely memorized, your actions memorized, whatever it is, and you have 4 more weeks until your pageant, you are going to be way less stressed out than if you waited to the last minute, did everything that you like to do, and now it just made you even more nervous to perform on stage because you didn't practice. So find out what that is for you and plug those into those systems. 3 months, 2 months, 1 month, 2 weeks, 1 week, 3 days. And I'll get a little bit more granular in the last step with your 1 week and 3 days out, because that should change a little bit. But again, your mental map category should be your positive affirmations, self-love and planned relaxation time, health and fitness, work hours, that's like your job, pageant hours, that's you working on your pageant prep, your motivation, accountability, and boundaries. Cool? So that is all under make a plan. And then next we have meet your deadlines and stick to your schedule. So are you tracking your progress in the way that you planned? In the last step, you should have outlined a structure for tracking your schedule. If that's on your phone, if that's in a tangible planner, if that's a weekly check-in, daily check-in, whatever it is, track your progress. Because then you're able to say, did I win today or did I lose today? And give yourself grace for if it was a loss. Are you staying on track? Why or why not? This gets into accountability. Do you need a butt kicking by your accountability partner, or are you killing it and you're on track? If you are, don't be so hard on yourself. Reward yourself and create positive self-talk of saying, oh yeah, I'm killing it right now. And I've been doing one thing every single day to help me plan for my pageant, which is awesome. So specifically with the 2 month, 1 month, and 3 days, getting a little bit more granular with that. So 2 months out from your competition, just a couple tasks that I would say put on your radar. Schedule your hair appointments, tanning, nails, whatever you need to do, beauty appointments. Make sure those are scheduled like 2 months out. 1 month out, follow up on those beauty appointments, text family and friends, reminding them to come support you. Maybe make a social media post about your competition. Do your final wardrobe fittings 2 to 4 weeks and no sooner, because that'll stress you out. Trust me on that. At this part of the process, you should have your measurable outcomes. You should be tracking your progress. You know, you might be 1 month out or 2 months out and you have a system going. So you're working hard on the things that you're bad at or quote unquote bad at, or might be not confident in, whatever that is for you. And you're saving those things that you love, 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 that are quick and easy for you to do at the end. Very, very important. Now, the very last point, so my 5th point, is get your mindset right. And this gets granular with the 1 week before your competition. So very, very important. 1 week before, do our powerhouse mindset prep activity. And if you're in our inner circle, then you totally know what that is. And if you don't, DM us and we can explain it to you more in heavy detail. I'd love to do that for you. But think, where do you want to be 1 week out from competition? So this is pack for the pageant, everything but toiletries, hair, makeup, because I understand you have to do that during the week. Remind yourself of your scheduled tan or nail appointments, any beauty appointments you have that week. I wouldn't recommend doing any of those, maybe nails or tan, but hair, those type of things right before you go, just because you need to give yourself at least 24 hours to unwind and do last minute things that you need before you leave. So this should really be a time, this final week, of you reflecting on your progress, not doing last minute things in a rush because you feel unprepared. So if you're following this timeline, you'll be able to look back and be proud of yourself for how far you've come, what you've accomplished. You can read your affirmations that you set. And then specifically 3 days from the competition, I would pack your hair stuff if you can, but the most important thing is rest, rest, rest. If you want to work out, do a normal workout so it's not super heavy and you'll be really sore for the competition. You do not want that, especially if you're doing swimsuit. You'll walk really weird. But really, really important to rest, rest, rest. Do something that relaxes you that's not screen time. So not just sitting around watching Netflix all day. That's not what I mean. Go outside. If you have to take a nap, read a book, go swimming, play a board game, do something that can get your mind stimulated and your body stimulated at the same time. That's my biggest recommendation for when we're 1 week out or 3 days out, doing things that are easy on the mind, that make you feel prepared and confident walking into competition week. So what did we learn today? The 5 tips for competing in a local pageant. I know I gave you a lot of sub tasks and lists and stuff, but the 5 overarching tips were: number 1, register early and get in contact with the director about deadlines and requirements. Number 2, assess where you are at and where you want to be. Number 3, make a plan. Number 4, meet your deadlines and stick to your schedule. Number 5, get your mindset right. And really, 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 really important, that last week, last 3 days, rest. Be easy on yourself. Be gracious with yourself. Be positive. Be in a positive environment if you can. And get your mind right before you take that stage. Well, I hope you found some value in this podcast as you're preparing for your local pageant. I know this isn't everything that you need to know, but hopefully it gives you a good basis to be on the right track and have a plan, ask some important questions, and really feel prepared for your next pageant. So I want to remind everybody listening that we do have an event coming up at Powerhouse. It's called our Fall Mastermind, and it is October 8th through 10th. Megan actually did a podcast on it last week, so if you want to know more information, you can check that out or DM us on social media. You can also text us at 402-833-3316 or email us at info@powerhousepageantry.com. And again, pageantry has an EA in it. Some people spell it wrong. But our Fall Mastermind, we are so excited. It's October 8th through 10th, like I said. And we're really, really pumped for some of the things we're offering to you ladies this year. We're going to do a full mock pageant, full mock interviews, plus feedback from our expert judges. We have a Q&A session, other expert sessions on relevant pageant prep topics. We have one-on-ones available for sign up. And honestly, my favorite thing is meeting women from around the United States that fly in. We had, I think, 21 states or 22 states at our previous mastermind. And I just love hearing people's stories and seeing their journeys and hearing their goals. And that's really my favorite part, as well as, helping you guys out as well. But if you're interested in more information for our mastermind, feel free to text us, like I said, or email us or DM Megan or I on social media, and we'd be happy to point you in the right direction. Well, everybody, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for listening to the Powerhouse Podcast with Megan Swanson and Allie Mancuso. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Hey guys, Coach Megan here, and thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Powerhouse Podcast. We're so honored to have you wherever you are, near or far away from the great metropolis of Omaha, Nebraska, where we are from. We are so proud to be your virtual coaches. If you could just share this with a friend that you feel like needs to hear this today, give us a 5-star review if you haven't already, and click that link below in our show notes. We promise we are the nicest people. We are the nicest people, we promise, and we'd love to meet you, and we'd love to figure out if you're a good fit for our programs, or make a suggestion for a different coach, different consultant, different person that's a professional in their field that can help you. The reason why we do it this way, actually, because a lot of people ask, is because we want to help you practice the elements of being a great title holder from the very beginning. And one of those things is vulnerability. One of those things is being a self-starter. One of those things is being able to reach out and cold email, cold call, cold DM somebody that you don't know because of the potential opportunity on the other side of things. When I was Miss Nebraska and Miss Nebraska USA, just letting y'all know that's how you get media, that's how you get appearances, that's how you get sponsors, is being willing to put yourself out there. And so we want to help you practice that from the very beginning, learn more about you, and discover if we can help you, and we'll point you in the right direction for one of our services, programs, and the right coach for you. Otherwise, we will absolutely make a best suggestion for you in a different direction, because at the end of the day, we're not territorial about needing to coach every person in the world. We just want you to find your right fit so that you can make your dreams come true and unlock the winner within you. Anyways, just wanted to encourage you guys in that today. Again, leave us a review, DM us on Instagram at any of our handles, and with that, we'll see you guys next week.